So when I started the shred, or started cutting, I was around 80 kg. So I already lost some of that fat during the first period of training around strength. But now, like I said, I want to take that strength base and just shred down and get that lean body. So that's the way the shred started. That's the way the cut started. I had no idea what I was getting into, how long it would take. I seriously didn't think it would take as long as it did take, and I did not think I would get down to the magic weight that I eventually did get down to. So January, in summary, was easy because it was only 4 weeks. I thought, okay, well, this is cut for 4 weeks, get my six pack, and away we go. And if you think about January is like the summer season in New Zealand, the festive season. It's always a bit harder to, well, in theory, not to eat all the junk food, but I wanted it so bad that I was determined, because I told everyone this is what I'm doing. And not everyone. I mean, I told a few people at the gym, and I told my immediate family, but no one outside that really knew what I was doing. And the other thing, I was tracking it on video with my shorts, so I knew I had to show up. I knew I had to show progress, and I knew I had to make video clips too, because video clips were important to that aspect around shorts. And I wanted to show the discipline in uploading new shorts every day, so they keep me in routine. Other things I looked at were, what I found interesting was the calories. So the first month I was at about a 500 a day deficit. So chat told me to go down to about 2300 calories, and I was pretty strict and pretty cautious. And if we had to go out to a party, I checked in with chat and asked AI how to get around this day, and what would how to fill up before I went, what to eat if I did go to the party. So I was able to get around that, and it wasn't that difficult. And even at this point, I had a lot of people say, hey, listen, you look really good, you look lean. And it was only really January. So overall went good. My spirits were high. I was really motivated, sleeping well. You know, and part of that's you're on holidays too, so that was easy. Wasn't any work that got in the way. So I really enjoyed every aspect of that January period in terms of the disciplines around sleep. And I set my alarm at 9 o'clock at night, even on holiday, and made sure I was up early, 5 or 6 in the morning. Kept that discipline in place. Made sure I drank lots of protein, or ate lots of protein, and listened to what chat was telling me to do. I was just buying into AI in terms of a strategy to get that six pack I've always wanted and never had. So that's pretty much January. Into February. February was tougher, you know, back to work, and the discipline was different around timing and making sure that I kept my fuel and my food intake going throughout the workday. My workout and exercises were getting a little bit stale. I was definitely overtraining, because chat had me working or going to the gym 7 days a week. Okay, 7 days a week with 1 day recovery, which is probably, in hindsight, too much, but I leaned into it, listened to what chat said, and got through it. And if others asked me when my next day was or off, I would just say, well, listen, I don't really have a day off, but I do have a day of recovery, and I can decide how that recovery day looks. And chat said, if you feel okay, you can work. Your recovery can be an active recovery or can be a restful recovery. I always decided on the active recovery, thinking that would be more beneficial. So February was more about dissecting what chat was telling me to do, questioning the routines, and chat struggled with the routines because it couldn't work out what days it was. So some mornings it would tell me to work out the same exercises that I've worked out the day before. So I'd have to always prompt it to be mindful of that, to give it context around what day it was. Otherwise it would just get a bit lost. It didn't seem to have a memory. It was good with guidance, but I'd have to tell it context. And I think if anyone's going to use AI, if you give it context and tell AI how you're feeling, how you're sleeping, what your mindset's like, really dig into that space, and then AI could probably help you better than it did when I was using AI. So that would be one takeaway. If you use AI, give it context, tell it what day it is, what you did yesterday, how you're feeling, the amount of calories, recall the calories that you ate yesterday, the food you had, how you felt in the morning. So there's a lot to present back to chat in order for chat to give you better advice the day after. And the other takeaway was around food and macros. Fantastic. I mean, chat was great at taking photos. Well, allocating or working out the macros based on the photos I'd give it of the food, but it would struggle with the total, and sometimes it would combine yesterday's breakfast with today's dinner, and so on and so on. Again, you have to give it context, and I ended up at the end of it just giving it a summary when I got to about 3 p.m. and then working out what I needed to eat, sleep, and everything else after that 3 p.m. period, just to make it not so onerous around telling chat what I did eat and what day it was. So while it was useful in a lot of ways, there were some issues, and I think mainly the issues around the prompts and the inability for me to understand how AI works and ChatGPT works as a coach, a mentor, nutritionist. February ended with me cutting back into 1800 calories, and I was dropping down to 78, around 78, and I was doing about 1800 calories. I was still struggling. I was still struggling with seeing massive results, but I was starting to see some abs, especially in the right light. I mean, lighting is everything, and what you see in these photographs that you see online aren't really true. It's all made up from the lighting and when someone's pumped or not pumped. So I've discovered that as well. And at the end of February, I really struggled with the mind and the memory and the motivation. I just forget things, and I was short and grumpy And I think at this point I was sort of under eating, and I think some days I'd be 1400 calories, and that obviously wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to keep going and to be with it. So I spoke to a couple of guys out there at the gym, and a couple of girls too, who had been through the shred, and they said, listen, this is a symptom, this is what you need to do. And this is a pivotal point, because I sort of got lost in my way a little bit in terms of what I was doing. And I just wanted to lean up, but everything else became secondary and a bit foggy. So at the end of February I decided to lean more into the help of others around me to guide me. And there were some coaches at the gym I go to who just really understood and said, right, this is what we think you should do, and introduced me into eating more carbs, because I'd really walked away from carbs. Cocoa Pops were introduced, Biscoff was introduced, and that got me into March. And it was quite interesting because in January, one of the girls at the gym said, "Oh, you might end up having to be 69 or in the 60s to get lean." So, that was interesting. I said, no, there's no way I'll be in my 60s. There's no way I'm going to be in my 60s. So I laughed it off, thinking that's not going to happen. So March was really a really good month. I started eating a lot more carbs. I started dropping more weight and getting more shapely, and that was an interesting area for me. I started getting shape in my arms and my lats, and my tummy was getting really lean. I was getting, but it was coming together. It was starting to work in my favor now, and I was listening to people who had been through it a lot more, and less on AI to guide me. AI had helped me shift into this space, and it was a good platform. But what I had worked out is that people contact and people who got me through it, who helped me out, who gave me advice around food, exercise, systems and strategies. And you got to thank the people at the end of the day. So it's April now. I kind of been in a bit of a recomp, not deliberately, but that's for me a point where I'm not sure where to go now. A couple of weeks ago I landed at 69.5 kg. I was at 89, so that's 20 kg, 44 pounds. So yeah, not many clothes fit anymore. I look like a completely different person now. I've also changed mentally, and while I didn't really have the confidence to do even movies like this, videos like this, I've got a lot more confidence. My abilities in front of a camera have improved. My shorts, they haven't really improved too much, but I've learned a lot. So the transformation has been massive. So all the way back from June of last year when I gave up alcohol to April 2026, April the 4th is the day I'm recording this. 20 kg lighter, a lot more confident in front of a camera, a lot more confident in terms of talking and going through the process. And yeah, I know there's a long way to go, but every day I look forward to hitting the gym, the food I'm eating, the people I'm around, the family support, the friends, the connections I've made at the gym. The support there is massive, and I'm just learning to be a better me. And you know, I will go into some more detail around the food that I ate during January and February and March, and the sleep and how I slept and what sleep strategies I used, and the pros and cons of AI, and how I used AI to help me at the very beginning set up the foundation and the I guess the confidence. So AI gave me the confidence, but it's also there were some pros. Yeah, while there's a list of pros, there's also a list of cons, and context has been one of them, and AI just had no idea around context. So my training's changed a lot from June of last year. My food has changed a lot. I've changed a lot. So if you wanted to listen to what I've gone through, subscribe and take a ride. Because it all started with alcohol, and how alcohol had controlled my world for so long, and while I was functioning, I wasn't really in control of that function, and it controlled a lot of my life, a lot of my 50s. So if you want to take back control and give alcohol up and take up exercise, yeah, maybe I could share what I went through with you, so you can get out of being dependent on alcohol and be dependent on just being you. Be the real you, be the you that you're proud of, and be the you that makes you feel younger and stronger and leaner. I mean, I'm almost 58, and I feel 50. I feel I've got the strength of a 50-year-old. I've got the confidence that I've been looking for. I've got the skills to make my life and the people's lives around me better just by not drinking. I'm never going to drink again. I don't need that. I've got so many more things to give, and at 58, yeah, I just feel like it's not all gone. There's a long way ahead, and I want to make the best of those times really valuable. So yeah, if you're drinking or have just given up drinking and not sure what to do, maybe take a listen, and hopefully I can inspire you to get out there, go to the gym, become a new you, and get that shredded look that, just get fit, get strong, be healthy, be around your family. Don't hide behind that bottle. All right, okay. I'll talk to you next time. See you, bye.